All right. So as people are coming in the room, just finished a client. We had an intense conversation, and I wanted to share it with you guys and ask the question, the elephant in the room question. As people are coming in, please put your age and location. Age and location, just to get the demographics of where everybody's from. Also, mic check, mic check. If you can hear me, just click 1. I got to do that every time because I don't want to be talking and you guys not hear me. All right, so let's talk about it. Okay, so as people are coming in, click 1 if you can hear me. Okay, we got somebody from 74, lady, North Carolina. We got Jamaica in the house. Book, Jamaica. Okay, you can't hear me. So everybody put your age and location so I know the demographics. I need to know who am I speaking to. Who am I speaking to? And thank you, Pamela, for the mic check. And we got San Francisco, California. All right, so let's talk about it as you guys are chiming in. Now, let me explain how this goes because I think a lot of you guys have been in a lot of rooms and everybody runs their room differently. I am somebody who feeds off of energy. And what does that mean when I say I'm feeding off of energy? 58? Okay, we got some good people. Yeah, because I'm 56. I'm 56. Thank you, Pamela. She says you're welcome. Thank you. I'm 56. As you can see, I'm not in my 20s. So I'm the type of spirit that needs like a response. I don't know how people do it where, you know, they come up here and it's like talking to yourself. So I am going to ask, pretty much request, you know, I'm going to ask that you guys respond. If you don't respond, then I can't gauge where the conversation is going. So I'm going to need you to help me navigate this conversation. And I want to make sure it's hitting home because I don't want to be just talking, you know, and not really pinpoint and direct it to the audience that I'm speaking to. That's why I had asked you guys to say your age. All right, thank you, Queen. Thank you, Queen. All right, so let's get into it. I don't even know how to say this without saying it. Trauma. Now, can somebody give me the definition of trauma? Give me a definition of trauma. What is trauma? What is that? What does that mean, that word? I hear that word being thrown around. Trauma. What does that mean? What does trauma mean? Let's dissect this. What does trauma mean? What does that mean? You know, as we get older, we need our reading glasses, so I'm making sure I put my reading glasses on. So let's get into it. What is trauma? Somebody says, Angel says, losing 2 children. I can concur with that one. I can, you know. Deborah says she's a young 70. Yes, Deborah. Deborah's that you know. I'm a young 70. All right, Lady says 74, be 75 in 5 days. Happy early birthday, Lady. So let's give Lady a shout out. So let's talk about trauma. What is that? What are we talking about here? I hear everybody throw that word around, but what does that mean? You know, trauma. What does that mean? Somebody says pain. Losing 2 children. Yeah, distress. Unresolved pain. Pain. So I'm getting a lot of pain. Disturbing experiences. All right. Thank you, guys. You're right on point. Hurt. Soulflower said hurt. Whoo. Okay, we're about to peel the layer. We're about to go in. We're about to go in to the belly of the beast, where it all took place, where it all started. How many of you here have experienced trauma? Just click 1 if you in your lifetime have experienced trauma. How many? Just click 1. You don't have to go into details if you don't want to. I just want to see who am I talking to, what experience, who am I talking to? hurt. Some things. My friend says some things that hurt you to the point of putting you in distress, a distressed state of mind. That's very good. Khadijah says going through distressful events, frightened. Okay, so you guys pretty much have a handle on it. Now, how many of you, just by the show of hands, have experienced trauma? How many have experienced trauma? Distress. How many people? I know some of you guys are 70 years young and you're 50 years young and you got a story to tell. All right, let's talk about it. This is my second live. The first one it's your second one. You blessed to have the second one. Trauma. Elsa says trauma is psychic wounds that hardens you psychologically. Then that interferes with your ability to grow and develop. It pains you, and now you're acting out of pain. Whoo, my God. You nailed it. So how many people experiences trauma? How many of you guys click one of, safe space here. Maybe people walking around with trauma. Now we're going to talk about the subconscious mind. We're going to talk about that because we're living on a planet where there's a lot of people who are acting out. And that's the situation, subconscious mind. Without being consciously aware in the present moment, people have a tendency to reptilian brain, subconscious mind. People have a tend to be creatures of habit. So what happens? Let's go diving. Get your scuba diving equipment, and get your galoshes. It's going to be a wet day today. Let's talk about it. All right, so you guys nailed it. Now, there are people who have buried trauma. There's people who have experienced trauma from childhood, and it comes out subconsciously. They're not even aware that this is happening. It's something that people do to protect themselves from pain. Some people have an out-of-body experience where when it was happening, they check out. So it's a lot going on. People have certain patterns, coping mechanisms. So there is a lot going on. And as you can see from the world, there's a lot of people who are acting from a place of pain. There's a place of pain, which is going to come to the next conversation we're going to talk about, because a lot of you guys have experienced that you're going through trauma. So let me ask you the question now. If one has been and acknowledges that they have trauma, whose responsibility? And even if it was childhood trauma and something happened and one was mishandled by an adult, okay? And I could tell you a sob story and get a violin. I got trauma stories myself. It definitely had, at one point in my life, it was taking over my life where I wasn't even consciously aware. I was just moving in a sense of pain and anger and inflicting that on other people, which was not fair. Being in relationships and vomiting all over the place and just expect somebody to love me and to fix me. I was really out of control. Out of control, because nobody deserves that. So whose responsibility is it? Even though you've been traumatized by someone and it was unfair, whose responsibility is it to seek counsel, to seek help? Now, is it somebody, the relationship? Is it the person that you're in a relationship? Is it their responsibility to fix you? Or is it your responsibility to seek counsel? Because what's happening and what has been happening, even from my childhood, I've watched people going through traumatizing events and they end up taking that because they went through it and inflicting that on other people. You see what I'm saying? So those people who have had trauma, and I guess I'm beating around the bush. Have you seek counsel? Have you realized that you were traumatized? There's trauma. There's trigger points. Have you had therapy? Did you seek help to repair or to become whole again? So that's what it is. Because I got to tell you, I can't tell you how many times. And I'm going to tell you why this conversation came about. I am somebody who deals with holistic approach of working with people. I understand that you guys want to lose weight, and I totally get it. You want to lose weight, and I totally get that your intentions are good, but due to trauma, that sabotages you. So even though your heart is good and your intentions are good, there are, in the subconscious mind, people are not present all the time. People end up sabotaging themselves because there are people who emotionally eat. They're eating their trauma. So as someone who comes in to help somebody to so-called lose weight, it's not so much about the losing weight, and it doesn't matter how many diets you go on. If you do not deal with the trauma is going to eat you up like cancer. I've watched good people die, and they ate themselves to death because that food was a coping mechanism to numb out. Now, the clients that I've worked with in the past express trauma. They also express that they want to get help. That's why they worked with me as a coach. Sometimes the trauma is so deep and so destructive that it takes people out. It takes people out. So the conversation and story I'm going to tell is a client that I was training that was 400 pounds. 400 pounds. 400 pounds. The client came to me. I was working at Reebok. Wanted some help. We got down to 300 pounds after a year. Lost 100 pounds. But after a year, he wanted to do it on his own. He wanted to say, let me do it on my own. So I didn't hear from him. We spoke within 3 months. Then he went ghost on the 4th month. Didn't see him. Disappeared. Didn't see him at the gym anymore. You know how that goes. Disappeared. So I called. No pickup on the phone. I emailed, no response to email, because he broke a pattern because he was always responding to email or calls. And come to find out, his mother had died. His mother died. And that triggered, that trauma, that triggered him to numb out on food. So as his mother transitioned, he went back into a state of depression. He went back and he ate his emotions. He was doing so good, he put the weight back on and more. And it consumed him. Yeah, it did. So the point that I'm trying to make is that trauma is real. It's not a figment of your imagination. You're not making this up. But when someone is traumatized, it affects their decision making. Even no matter how much you want to lose the weight, there's always going to be something that's going to try to pull you back. And as a trainer, I think one of the things that we approach is the physical. And I think the physical is beautiful. I think, but it's not, as a trainer, it's more like we're therapists, psychiatrists, because in order to get somebody to trust you with their body, they have to open up to you. So you have to be open to receive their story. And then you have to work with them so they can see that you're there to help them. And the point that I'm trying to make with working with people is that when somebody releases and let go of old pain, the weight will drop off. You see what I'm saying? It's all connected. The body cannot live without the spirit. Once the spirit is broken, it manifests into a disease of the physical body. So if the spirit is broken in disease, dis-ease, the body follows the spirit. So a lot of people, when dealing with people, it's a tough call being a trainer. It's not easy because you have to get to the layer. You have to get to the center of the onion. You have to peel off all of these layers, and I gotta tell you, a lot of people are in trauma. They're not even aware because they buried it and they're hiding. People hide, and I have to be an investigator. I have to be Professor Columbo. So, and the reason why I say this is because a lot of you are that person. A lot of you guys have tried. How many of you, and excuse me for being so presumptuous, I should have asked for permission first. With a show of hands, just click 2. How many of you know this person? How many of you guys you've been going down that road? You've been making these promises to yourself, and you can't explain why you haven't achieved those goals. How many? Click 2 if you're that person. Prime example, New Year's resolution. You've been doing this for years. Been saying this is the year. Does it sound like you? Click 2 if it sounds like you. I know it. It's a couple of you in this room that it sounds like this is the year. I'm going to get it together. I'm going to do this. And in the beginning, hi. How many, just click 2 if it's you. No judgment. We're not judging. We're not here to judge. We're here to get to solutions. Problems, solutions. We're not here to keep talking about the problems. I'm here to get to the core of the issue so you can see yourself as a reflection, because a lot of people don't see themselves. And a lot of you guys are around people that are your friends that are not helping you grow. They're complacent. You have friends that will stroke your ego, because birds of a feather flock together. So if you don't tell me my issues, I won't, because we could just bury it and make like it doesn't exist. People have friends like that where they're not growing, they're devolving. So there's a lot of people who have friends, but they're not growing. And I don't know if you could call that somebody, because sometimes you outgrow people. But a lot of people hang on because they become comfortable. They're too scared to be the small fish in a big pond. So people stay with what they know, even though what they know they have grown out of, but they stay anyway because people are scared of change. What do you guys think? So with this situation, what makes and someone like me that's coming to help you, it makes it very hard when you're hiding and you're not honest with yourself. And you play these games with yourself, and you're really playing with your life. And you don't see how you played the major role in this situation. And I know things happen. And I'm going to say, and I know it sounds corny, but when you seek counsel and help and you let go of past pain, you grow. You let go and you create more room for new energy. But if you keep holding on to an old story that happened, now trust me, I'm saying it from experience, baby. I've been there. I'm 56 years around the planet. I've been there. But what separates me from those who hold on to their pain is choice. Everybody has the power of choice. There is no victims on this planet. None. None of you guys, regardless of your circumstances and your stories, are not victims. You're not a victim. One is complacent because you sit in it and you keep living that, and you punish yourself because you keep living that in your head, and your body responds, and then now you're sick. Now you have to have some donuts. You got to have something to numb out. Now you're eating your emotions because you've been doing that for so long. That's all you know. You're a creature of habit. It's too uncomfortable for you to go walk around a block or to write in your journal to release it. But you gotta, you gotta get a quick fix. It's like being a junkie. It's like being a junkie. I gotta get a quick fix. I gotta call Uber delivers. I gotta get my fix. You know what I'm talking about. Because you do it all the time. All right. So, as somebody who works with people who are traumatized, but you look good in a suit. See, this is the thing. You could tell a junkie. You could tell a junkie. Like I've been around junkies. I grew up in a neighborhood where we had junkies. Even vets. I have Vietnam vets and they fought in the war and they're homeless. They're junkies. I grew up in that. You could see other people pain, but you can't see yours, because what people do is that people will say the person doesn't look like a junkie. Now, taking in consideration, my definition of junkie is not dealing with your emotions, using something to comfort you. That could be food, it could be sex, it could be drugs, it could be anything. Food, sex, drugs. That's pretty much the run-to that you guys go to. You'll either go to a club, pick up somebody, have a one-night stand, and you just do whatever, and get a little for a couple of seconds, and then that's your motive operandi to dealing with not wanting to deal. This is what happens. Why we get pain bodies, we get traumatized. People who have trauma hurt people, and this is what happens. So we got a bunch of people walking around the earth that's traumatized and traumatizing each other. Instead of seeking counsel and trying to get help and trying to change patterns, they stay in the same pattern and they just they justify it. And the thing about it is we're such visual people that as long as they're cute and they got a nice body and they make a lot of money, we give them a pass. He doesn't look like a junkie. What does a junkie look like? Doesn't look like a junkie. He's making good money. Got a Ferrari. What are you talking about? This guy's not a junkie. He's doing good. See his house? So we give people because they got a nice house, got some money, got some looks, but they're addicted to sex. We got some people who numb out on food. And there's people who actually numb out on drugs. But with that being said, it's very dangerous to play those games with yourself. Because I'm 56 and I've been around in this world for a while. And I know people my age will have their own story. But it's the road to nowhere. It's the road to nowhere. You're not going anywhere. Oh, if I'm reading every day, I'm reading. Peace and love, Rose. Junk food. Andrea says junk food and alcohol. It's all the same. Junk food, alcohol, and sex. Now, some of you guys, come on, you gotta even say sex. Sex is an addiction. People don't like you, but they will have sex with you, and they kind of get off on the chase. It's a high, the chase. Then when you get the person, you moved on to the next, and then it fills this type of void. It's a game, and these are people's emotions. So somebody is you're telling them anything and telling them what they want to hear, so you can get what you want, and then go ghost. This happens a lot, and a lot of people end up, and these people are hurting. And this has to stop. This has to stop. Because what's happening in the world is that we are in a space and place right now where there is a lot of people who are unlifing themselves. There's a lot of depression. And I, honestly, based on being a person who is of the human species and want the human species to evolve, I don't play those games. I've been celibate for over 12 years. I've been raw vegan. I don't kill animals. I have definitely took it upon myself to be part of the solution and pulled myself out of certain things that is not conducive to evolution of humanity. It's a low frequency. It's low energy. It's not going anywhere. It's like eating junk food. And if you guys can't see what you're putting out into the world and your behavior patterns, that's really what's going on in the world is based on how we treat each other. And that to me is questionable. So why did I decide to go into the wellness industry? Why did I decide it? It actually picked me because I used to be you. I used to be you. I used to be that teenager that was pretty much reckless, and didn't have a sense of awareness of other people's feelings and really consuming food and the whole thing. And in the end, my health was compromised due to being reckless, and it cost me. And I'm saying this because as an older woman of the human race, if there is anybody that my story can save, or just to put the brakes on one's behavior, to seek counsel. This is my part of giving back to the world, is being part of the solution, and to stop being and feeding into behavior patterns that's not conducive to us evolving as a species. And also the earth, Mother Earth, and toxicity, and like the top layer of the soil, and just the ozone layer. If we could take and treat ourselves with love, we'll learn how to treat Mother Earth with respect, because it begins and it starts with you. You know, and I think a lot of us at this particular point are self-absorbed and selfish, materialistic, and just don't care about nobody but yourself. And that's a disease. That's a disease. Because we can't live without each other. If somebody was the last person on earth, no matter how much money, if everybody terminated, was dead, and you know, and you was the only one on the planet, that money, what good is the money? There's nobody here to enjoy it with. So we have to work on ourselves and being more loving towards ourselves, so we can be more loving to each other. There's a lot of abuse, self-indulge abuse, food. If you're overindulging and you're not dealing with your emotions, and you're eating your emotions, you're going to implode. If you're having pointless sex with people and bringing children into the world, and you didn't plan them, you didn't want them, but you just had a moment of indiscretion, and now you have a life in this world that wasn't planned, and now the child is feeling it, because when two people conceive, the child feels the energy. It's the product of that moment, that thought process, that when you interacted, that is the thought of the child. So children need love. But in order to give it, you have to have it to give. You can't pour from something or give what you don't have. And a lot of people are not loving themselves. That's why the processed food, the fake conversations, fake it till you make it, the filters, it's all fake. There's nothing real about it. And people don't even know what realness is. Some people would get offended if somebody said something to them that was real, because people are so used to having fake conversation, eating fake processed food. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. Fake conversations, fake food, fake hair, fake nails. Everything is fake, and filters. So when you see somebody real like myself that's not dyeing her hair, not wearing any makeup, it's strange to you, because you're used to dealing with things that are fake. You're not used to seeing as an older woman matures, and we live in a society with ageism. So if you see an older woman, you know, she's a throwaway. She's old. We want something new and young. So you throw away wisdom. That person has information that you don't have that could actually help you get through some of your darkest hours. But now I want something brand new. I want a new toy. I want to discard the old. And we live in a world where we throw things and people in the garbage. We just do. So that breeds depression, you know, living in a world. And also, I spent a lot of time loving up on myself. I'm not saying this looking for validation. I already know who I am. I'm saying this because there are a lot of people in the world who need to hear this conversation. They need to hear real conversations with real people who's living a real life and is happy. That's what people need. They don't need filters with fake pictures, with somebody with a fancy car that costs more. And there's people homeless. And you got a Lamborghini, a couple of $1,000. The car is a couple of thousand. Meanwhile, we got homeless people that need help. You could take that money and spend it towards somebody's education. But yet you buy material things that depreciates. And as soon as it gets off the assembly line, it means nothing. It's junk. It's junk. As opposed to investing in human life and investing in people. We invest in stuff. And we got more stuff. So again, addiction. It could be food. It could be clothes. It could be car. It could be material things. Where we value material things over human life. That's a problem. Okay, I just want to say it's a problem. Because if you look around, people have all of this and they're still unlifing themselves. So you have all of this, you have the world, you have all the money, and you're still unhappy. So obviously, money doesn't make you happy. Money doesn't make you happy. Somebody wrote something, so I'm going to get my glasses. That's one of the wonderful things about getting older. You get to wear these beautiful reading glasses, and I love them. All right, so I'm coming in. I see somebody wrote something. Royal Smith 9. I went through a phase when I forgot who I was. Kept asking my husband. He didn't understand. I didn't either. So it's interesting because we have a lot of lost souls. There's a lot of people walking around here trying to find themselves through other people. They're not looking inside of themselves. They're finding themselves through people who are imposters. And you guys worship celebrities. Let's just put your celebrities out there because you guys worship them because they got money. They got the fancy houses that you guys want. And you put them on a pedestal without vetting them. You don't know them. But because they got money. And money's not evil. I'm going to say money's not evil because that same money, they could build a school for children. They could have organic lunches instead of the children eating processed food. They could grow food. They could take that money, buy some land, teach kids how to grow food. When I was growing up, we had community gardens. I would go to the garden and I had a milk carton and we would put a plant in there. That's one of my experiences being in New York, growing up in the hood. We had community gardens. Now, but trust me, it wasn't an oasis. But we took the beauty and left the rest. And children are not connected with nature. They don't know how to grow food. They don't know how to nurture themselves with food that's nutritionally dense. They're eating processed food that's shrinking their brain. A lot of them have behavior issues from the food. A lot of them bodies are being abused by the food. And a lot of the children, 40% of the children are obese. Even by the age of 6, a lot of the children are overweight at 6. They're overweight at 6. So the children don't buy the groceries. They're eating foods that the parents are bringing in. And everything is processed. It's almost like, and I don't even want to say it, but it's almost like committing murder. Because the food is not conducive to their health. That food eventually, hypertension, diabetes, cancer. A lot of these children are not going to outlive their parents. They're not going to make it. And it's unfortunate because you have the information. You can Google the information. I'm not telling you anything that you don't know. But a lot of you guys, you say you don't have time. I don't have time to make the child the food, so I'm going to get Uber delivers. So you brought the child in the world to feed it, Uber delivers. So you don't have time to make food for your children. Wow. Okay. So I came on because I really want you guys to spend some time really thinking about your life. Think about it. Spend some time asking yourself, am I adding to humanity or am I subtracting from humanity? And even for yourself, ask yourself the question, am I adding more life energy? Am I part of the solution or am I part of the problem? That's pretty much You can tell. You can know. And here's the thing, you can tell. If you're in your community helping those who can't help themselves, and you're extending yourself to humanity, your good morning, kind words, because when I leave my home and I see my neighbors, I say good morning. And when I see my neighbors' kids, I say good morning to them. If I have breakfast in my house, I give breakfast to my neighbors' kids, because they have, my neighbor, one of them, she has 8 kids. She can't feed all of them. So I give food. I give food away because children have to eat. They don't have to be my kids, my children, for me to contribute and give. And some of you guys have more money than God, and you know somebody needs help, and you hoard your money. You hoard your resources. That's so ugly. It's terrible. I don't have a lot of money, but what I do have goes back to the community. That's what it's about. If you're that person where you have even a skill, if you have a skill, you have something that could help somebody better themselves, then why don't you help? That's what I don't understand. All right. Royal says, I was very good. No, I was one day that I felt lost. I think I read this, right? Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. He said it fixes itself. I was going through hard times with my mother's passing and brother taking money from us. I was broken. I didn't know how to fix myself. Now, and I thank you, Royal, for sharing that. I appreciate and I love you, brother. Sending love and healing energy your way. We have a lot of people, and Royal just happened to really share his information. But a lot of times when you sass or mouth people off in the street, you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what people are going through. That's why I say have compassion. Before you go and raise your voice and go out and say something, be very mindful that that person is a spirit and you don't know what that person is going through. It's not only about your perspective. There's many perspectives of life. There's other people who have different perspectives. You don't know what people are going through. So with me, what I tend to do is I just pull back and I'm just quiet and I'll ask questions before I fire off. You know, because depression is high. It's high. You don't know. It's when Royal said he lost his mother. He didn't know. People won't tell you because we live in a world where we fake it till we make it. So people are always hiding their emotions because they don't want to look weak. Because we live in a world where if you show your emotions, that person is weak. And we look down at those people. Even if somebody says, well, I need to talk to you right now. I'm having some emotional issues. Oh, emotional? You crazy? What's wrong with you? We don't say, hey, I don't have time right now, but if you really need to talk, I could give you my ear. But can we link up later on today? Instead of we go to the bar. We go to the bar and we drink our feelings. Instead of giving somebody a hug and saying, I love you, I'm here for you. Let's go hit the bars and get high. It'll be fine. Let's just go get high. Let's just go. Instead of saying, you know what, let's meet at the park. Let's go get some sunlight. Let's just do a little picnic under a tree and let's just talk. Let's get some vitamin D and let's just talk. Let's talk. So we have to, or not, change our perspective in how we deal with each other as human beings. Also, what that looks like is you taking care of your health. Now for me, look at me. I'm 56 and I know I get a lot of compliments on my skin and I get a lot of compliments on this. But that's what you're looking at is years and years and years of discipline. Years of discipline. This didn't happen in one day. I put myself to work mentally, physically, and spiritually. And I align myself with certain values and core principles that I pour into myself and I apply it to people outside in my community. That also involves you as being part of my global family. So we have a tendency to really not take care of ourselves. So in order for me to pour into somebody and give, I have to have it first because you can't give what you don't have. So if you're not healthy, you're having gossiping conversations, you're drinking alcohol, you're leading somebody on sexually, you know you have no intentions of even being with that person, but you'll take the sex. But you don't have no interest in that person at all. You just want to get off. But you're not concerned about what you're doing to them and how they feel about you. You just concerned about you and you only. You don't care. Eventually when you get tired, you go ghost. Oh, I got tired of her. Or I got tired of him, yeah. And then you go on to the next person. What's that all about? That's toxic. That's not how people do things. That's not how people do things. That's not how you do things. That you don't do that. But you got off, so that's all that matters is you. You don't care. You don't care. I don't care. That's what's killing us as a species. Not caring. Not caring about your health. Not caring about your state of mind. You look cute in a Gucci suit, but your mental state is questionable. And how you care for other people. It's a disease. And if we don't stop it, we are going to take each other out. There'll be nobody on the planet. Nobody. So, I just wanted to leave you with that. I just wanted to plant some seed in your subconscious mind, hoping that your reptilian brain will receive the transmitters in the brain, your neurotransmitters in your brain will receive this message in love. That you will take it and you will consume it, grow, eat it like food in your spirit, and that you will wake up one day and see the value of other people because you love yourself. So much so that you have enough love to share with other people. That's what it's about. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the money. It's about the love of humanity and the love of yourself. Money come and go. It's material things. It's not going to, you 1 minute you get it, the next minute it's gone. So it's paper. And we put value on paper. If we decide to go back to bartering, the paper would cease to exist. So we have the power to make it and we have the power to break it. But you have to heal so you know your self-value. A lot of you guys have insecurities and you're inflicting that on other people because you're uncomfortable with yourself and you're putting that on other people, and that's not right. You got to fix yourself and stop being so nasty to other people. Your spouse don't deserve that. If you're coming in from work and something's happening at work, say, baby, give me 5 minutes. Let me just get my head together because something just happened and I just need right now to process what happened. But just give me 5 to 10 minutes and I'll be right there. And in fact, I'll help you make the dinner. I'll make the salad. But just I just came through the door. Let me just detox. Let me shake that stuff from the street so I don't have to bring it into my house with my beautiful wife or my handsome husband, and the kids don't deserve that. The kids don't deserve it. Don't deserve it. So if you need 5-10 minutes, you're just shaking that stuff with the detoxing from the street, and you got going at the job, give me 10 minutes. Can you give me 10? Ask. Oh yeah, yeah, baby. Just take your time. We'll be here. I'll have your dinner, when you're ready. That's love. Because communication. It's communication. You don't come in here, screaming at the wife, screaming at the kids. Now you got a situation where the kids are unsettling. The wife is trying to tell you something you don't know, but because you came in irate because something happened to the job, now you brought the job in the house. It's toxic. Nobody deserves that. It's toxic. Nah. So I just wanted to put a bug in your ear that there are still people on the planet that move in a sense of integrity. And also, if you have people in your circle that's not helping you grow, and you're with toxic people, that what I could tell you is I had to remove myself from toxic people, including family members, for me to be the person that I am today. You can't take everybody with you. Not everybody's going in your direction. You know what I mean? And you have to be comfortable being by yourself sometimes. And that comes with the territory. Anytime you're growing, it's uncomfortable, but there's a lot of crabs in the barrels that don't want to see you grow. And these could be These could be people that you knew all your life, that you thought had your back, until you start growing out of your old shell and you're growing into something. People feel scared that you're leaving them behind. They don't understand the process of growth, because you're giving to get. You're investing in yourself. You're taking risks. And that's what people who are wealthy do that poor people don't do. And let me just say, wealth and poverty consciousness is a consciousness. It's a mindset. If you are moving in a frequency of poverty consciousness, you're scarcity. You're scared that there's not enough resources. So you're like a scavenger. You're hoarding things, and you're not sharing. And that's the thing. We have people who are they're hoarding, they're scavengers. I don't know if it's going to be a food shortage. I don't know if I got to snatch it up for me. I got to get me first. Forget about everybody. That's an ugly way to do things. I got to tell you, it's ugly. It's ugly. It's ugly. It's ugly. And I've seen it look, and it's just ugly. It's selfish. It's selfish, and it's ridiculous. So this is for you. This is for you. I will be, as people had asked me, I will be doing the 7-Day Raw Vegan Challenge. This is my last week. I'll be doing it next year in 2024. One of the things that helped me change the portal that started this problem solution, and I'm not going to make it big. One of the things that got me on this trajectory, this journey, was my food. My intake of nutrition helped my brain. It helped me to think, because when I was eating processed food, my mind, my neurotransmitters and the neuroplasticity, I wasn't able to take in new information because my brain wasn't functioning at its optimum best. When I started to eat raw living foods, it took 21 days for my body to change on a cellular level. My lymphatic system, I started eliminating much more efficiently. Anytime I ate something, I was able to remove it out of my body. My colon, it cleans the walls of my colon with all that plaque of processed food. So I've been on this journey as far as raw vegan for over 12 years. And I can honestly say it has been a game changer. It's been a game changer. And so what I tend to do, since it worked for me, is to share what worked for me. And you take it, run with it, and basically own it and make it your own. And the thing about it is that we got so many people, and no disrespect to your music, I know you like your music, that when you listen to the rap music, it's cursing, people are calling each other bitchs, and you guys share that, it's like a virus. You share that communication, and you share the processed food. What I'm doing is sharing raw vegan food. I'm sharing food that's nutritionally dense. I'm sharing conversation that is enlightening, and it's basically really allowing you to grow and to evolve, ascend, instead of staying complacent and having the same conversations, eating the same kind of food, and really not being the healthiest and best version of yourself. So for me, why I say, and I'm really adamant about nutrition and movement, is because it saved my life. Because I came from a mother who was 14 years old on welfare. I was born to be another statistic. But due to my consumption and changing, it was a game changer for me. So now I'm in control of my destiny. I'm not a victim. You know what I mean? And that's when you take your power back in what goes into your gut. Because the gut is the second brain. It is the second brain. So I'm feeding my gut, my probiotics in my gut, and it's feeding my mind. And I can see clearly, more clear than ever before. And I speak my truth. And I stand 100% behind what I say, and also my behavior patterns to humanity. I'm a part of the solution, where I continue to preach the word of fruits and vegetables. And as many people, many are called but the chosen a few. For those people who are open to receive new information, that's what I do. I pour into you. So you can one day pour into somebody else and not use me as a crutch. But once you get the information and you get the food and you start to evolve, and you start to open up, your mind starts to become highly evolved, you can take that and you can now share that with other people. Because once we have other people eat this world, and once we have this movement growing, it will balance out, and then eventually the people who are eating processed food. They don't have to be taking medication because the body could heal itself. So we'll change the world one vegetable at a time. So that's what I wanted to say to you guys. It begins and it starts with you. It's all about you. You have the power to take your energy back one morsel at a time. So that's what I wanted to say. So this is all about evolving, growing, becoming the best version of yourself and loving yourself without imposter syndrome or those negative chatters that you have about yourself that you're not good enough. The insecurity that a lot of us carry is wasted time because it's robbing you of your ambition. It's like crack. And that inner voice, and a lot of you guys have that negative inner voice about yourself, and that's why you treat other people like crap, because you are treating people the way of the conversation that you're having with yourself. So it's a reflection. So you're showing the world how you really feel about yourself, because if you felt good about yourself, you wouldn't have to put somebody else down. You would be lifting up people and not being crabs in a barrel. So people always show you who they are based on how they feel about themselves. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys. So I just wanted to share that. If anybody, again, is interested in, a couple of people asked about the 7-day Raw Vegan Challenge. This is the last night for the Raw Vegan Challenge, the 7 days. I will come back next year in January and do it. I do it every January. All right? And I do have the book out, the 7-day Raw Vegan Challenge book, the recipe. So if anybody, because you guys always ask me about juice recipes, sea moss, the smoothies, they're all in the book. So, and again, check out my website. And also, I don't know about social media because, you know, I have a website. So if you want to follow me on my website, it's DelilahFitness.com. So just head on over to DelilahFitness.com, subscribe, and just be part of the conversation. Stay in the conversation. If you find somebody that makes you feel enlightened or make you feel powerful or make you feel good or make you feel, grab onto that person. That's the beginning of your journey. All right, guys, I love you guys. Till next time, have an amazing day and create an amazing day for yourself. Don't wait for something to happen. You make it happen. All right, peace.